Welcome back everybody. So today we're going to be building this kitchen sideboard cabinet. It's a beautiful piece, has lots of usability, made a concrete top for it. So if you guys have any use for this guy, check it out. I hope you guys liked the video. If you do, feel free to give me a thumbs up and a subscribe down below. It helps me out immensely. Let's get to it. I'm going to start by ripping a couple of 2x2s down to make all of my legs and my stretcher pieces. Now I'm cutting them about 1/8 of an inch heavy, and then I'm going to go back and gang cut all 4 of my legs and all 4 of my stretchers at the same time, just to make sure that they're all the same length because I don't have a stop block. As for the plywood pieces on this build, I had most of them ripped to the exact size that I needed at the local hardware store. Some are a little heavy and I just cut them to final size later on. But this edge banding that I'm putting on is on the bottom of my side panels. Now you'll see that here in a little bit, and it's just to cover up that naked plywood edge that I've got. Now as for pocket holes in this build, there's not too many. So right here I'm drilling 2 pocket holes in each end of all 4 of my stretchers, and a pocket hole about every 8 inches or so on each side panel on the insides. Now this is going to let us be able to attach the side panels to our legs, and then we're going to give a faux frame and panel finish, which is why I trimmed out the bottom of the plywood edge with edge banding. With the center panel spaced up on a couple of 1x3s that are actually the pieces of trim we're going to attach in the next step, we're going to go ahead and glue and screw it to our legs. Now this will basically get me pretty much in the ballpark of flush, but you may have to kind of tug and pull. I started using a clamp to hold everything together here, but it actually worked a lot better without the clamp, and I just sort of lifted and pushed down to make sure I got it flush all the way around. Getting rid of all those exposed pocket holes is actually a fairly simple affair. Now, I've got pocket hole plugs, and I put a big dab of glue into each hole and just shove that pocket hole plug in there. If you want, you can also use a piece of dowel. Either way, it gets the job done. Now, once the glue is dry, I'm just going to come back with a block plane and shave each hole down. If you got a flush trim saw, go ahead and use that, whatever you got. Now, those plugs never fit just quite right, so I'll go back with some wood filler and I'll fill in every hole and let that dry as well. While the wood filler is drying, I'm going to cut the trim pieces. Now, like I said before, these are the spacers that we used before, and I'm just measuring these to the exact size that I need. I didn't pre-cut them just in case there were any inconsistencies. But if you do go ahead and mark it and cut it just like I did, you should have such a nice tight fit that you don't need anything else. You don't need brad nails or anything like that. Just a pressure fit and glue holds that guy in place. While the glue's drying though, I'll flip this guy back over and get rid of all that wood filler on the back, and then give everything a good sand up to 120 grit for now. Now this is an optional step. I'm measuring down 3.5 inches and up 3.5 inches, and I got a 45-degree chamfer bit in my router, and I'm just easing into my mark, and then I'm going all the way down the entire piece, and I'm just easing off where my mark ends. Just adds a nice little decorative touch. While I've still got the router out, I'm going to go ahead and mark for my 1/4 inch plywood back panel. Now I'm just going to make an X onto each one of my side pieces here, just so I know where it's going to be, because I have made that mistake before and ruined a piece. So I'm going to change my bit over to my rabbiting bit, set it just like a 32nd inch deeper than the 1/4 inch plywood panel that I'm installing, and then route that out. Now I'm keeping both pieces together, and it just gives me a little bit more support so it doesn't want to wobble around on me while I'm routing this out, because it is so narrow. Now this step is totally optional. You really don't have to do it. It makes no difference. Nobody's ever going to see it once it's complete. But these are my stretcher pieces. My left is my front stretchers, my right is my rear stretchers. And I ripped my rears to be a 1/4 inch narrower than my fronts to accommodate my plywood back panel. So that way when I install them here, they don't kind of stick inwards into my plywood side panels. They line up perfectly with my side 2x2s when I attach everything together. One thing to note here, some of you may have already noticed it or picked up on it, but my bottom stretchers, I've got my pocket holes facing the inside, and my top stretchers I've got facing up. This is so when I put the top on, it'll obviously hide the top pocket holes, and my bottom shelf in my trim will actually hide my bottom pocket holes in the next step. Now I said before I had some things cut close but not exact, and this is one of them. So this is my bottom panel, and I wanted to cut this to the exact size when I was ready for it, just to make sure I had a nice snug fit. With the test fit looking good, we can go ahead and get this guy attached. Now there's a couple different ways you can attach this. You can go ahead and drill pocket holes and screw it in all the way around. I'm going to attach this guy, however, using some trim acting as a cleat, and then go ahead and attach that. It'll give a much cleaner look on the bottom of it. Again, not like really anybody's going to see it, but I know it's there. So I've taken a piece of scrap 3/4 inch plywood, and I'm just going to mark some lines all the way around, and that'll tell me about where my cleat needs to sit. The cleat itself is a piece of 3/4 inch cold molding that I bought at the home center. Now again, just like before, I'm marking and cutting everything as I go. So I'll make my mark, and I'll make a reference mark. That way I know which direction the saw blade has to go so I don't miscut. Ask me how I know. The fit we're going for here is snug, not tight. If it's too tight, nothing's going to fit right, and they're going to start pushing each other out of alignment, and you're going to get things lining up funky by the end of it. So go back, take a little bit more off, make sure it fits beautifully before you attach it. Now, before you attach it as well, just double check with your little spacer and make sure that you're perfectly flush at the top, so that way when you put the shelf on top, it'll be perfect. Now I'm attaching this with some 1-inch pin nails, but you can use brad nails. You can even just clamp it in place. It's entirely up to you. I just want to sneak in here and say, if you guys are brand new to the channel and you like what you're seeing, consider subscribing. Leave a like and a comment down below. I'd really appreciate it. Welcome to the crew. If you guys are my returning faithful, thank you so much for sticking with me, and thanks for coming back to the channel. I really do appreciate it. If you guys want to show support to the channel, go ahead and leave a like and a comment down below. I answer every single email and every single question, and it means the world to me. Thanks so much. Now, with all the cleats in place, we can put our shelf in. So I'm going to put a big fat bead of glue all the way around the edge of where the cabinet and the cleat meet. Now this way I'll get some glue squeeze out up the side of the plywood shelf as well as along the bottom of the cleat, and that'll give me a good bond all over the place. Now you can brad nail this guy down, or you can just clamp it in place like I am. So I'm putting a side clamp on as well as a little bit of pressure down just to hold everything flush, as well as to pull my 2x2s in just to close the gap between the plywood shelf as well as the frame. So with the frame set aside and the glue drying, now we can work on our divider panel. Now this is full height on the inside of the cabinet as well as full width front to back. Now these notches that I'm cutting out are going to be from my front and back stretchers on top, and I'm going to drill one pocket hole on the front and the back notch just so I can attach it to my stretchers. Then I'm going to drill a couple of pocket holes on the bottom, and this will help me attach it to the floor of the cabinet itself. Now these pocket holes are all going to be hidden by the stretchers or by drawers. You're never going to see any of them. To trim out the front so I don't have a naked plywood edge, I'm just using edge banding. You could use a 1x2 trim if you want, or solid wood. Edge banding is quick and easy, and it works just fine. To figure out where that piece is going to go, I measured over 14.5 inches and I made a mark, and I'm just tracing a straight line with my square. Now I pulled that measurement out of thin air because I sized it to fit a 4-slice toaster because that was what's going in. But you can move that to wherever you want. Now some of you may have noticed there's a theme on this guy, and that is to hide every single pocket hole on this build. Now some of them are hidden by a natural measure, some are hidden by trim, these ones are going to be hidden by drawers, the upper ones are going to be hidden by the top, so all of them are going to be hidden. Nobody will ever know. All it takes is just a little bit of planning. Now with the spacer flushed up on the top, I'm going to add some adjustable shelf pins in my cabinet side, and that's just because I don't know exactly what's going to go in this guy on the upper shelf or the lower shelf, so this just gives me some future flexibility. Then I can cut my shelf to go inside of my cabinet and my left shelf for my little cubby. Now these are just cutting out of some scrap pieces of plywood that I had kicking around. On my right shelf for inside of the cabinet, I just edge banded the front of it. It was really simple. And for my left shelf, I measured down 6¼ inches, and then I made a mark with my square again, and then I'm just going to glue and attach another cleat just like I did the lower shelf. Again, kind of carrying a theme through here. And I'm just going to brad nail this guy into place. Now, unlike the shelf on the right, which is just going to be sitting on shelf pins and just got edge banded, this one is going to be hard mounted to the frame and be visible all the time. So this guy had to fit perfectly, and then we're going to trim out the front of it with a piece of 1x2 poplar. Now that poplar is also going to fit flush with the front of the frame and just complete the look of everything and make that cubby look real nice. Alright guys, now a little bit of time has passed, but I promise you I didn't skip anything, so let me explain. Now, since you've seen it last time, the door's in place, the drawers are in, everything's mocked and mounted. Like I said, I didn't skip on anything though, and let me explain. So I already have a very detailed video on my channel about how I built the doors. I'll have that link down below, as well as I have a little pop-up card. I go through measuring, sizing, cutting, assembly, whether it's inset or overlay, everything like that. That video will also work on the drawer fronts here that I have as well. So you can go ahead and measure and cut and assemble your drawer fronts. Now you don't have to use these type of drawer fronts if you don't want to. You can use flat stock, basically take like a 1x12 or something like that, cut it down to fit and mount that on there and have a solid flat front. It's entirely up to you. You can route that, whatever. This is just what I'm going with. Now, I also have a video on my channel about how I built these exact drawers. So if you want to know how to build cabinet drawers as well, I have a video on that explaining it too. Now, these exact drawers are the one I built. They're very nice. They're pretty heavy duty. They're made out of plywood and they're pocket hole together. But as you can see, there is no visible plywood edges anywhere. Everything's beautifully finished and all my hardware and joining methods are completely hidden. Nobody will ever know, and it's very heavy duty. So all I got left now is I got to give it a quick sand with some 220. I'm going to stain it and got to cut my back panel still. And one other thing too is I took just a piece of poplar that I had kicking around. It was a scrap cut off, and I mounted this up here. It's just basically glued into place is all it is. But it's acting as my door stop. Now you can use the magnetic stops, whatever you want. It's entirely up to you. I just went that route. So let's get to it. Now, like I said before, the top could just be wood, but I went ahead and made a concrete top on this guy. Now, if you guys want to see how I made, again, this exact top, I have a beginner's tutorial, so anybody can make a great looking concrete top. I'll link that as well. Now there it is, sitting pretty and looking fantastic. It's got a ton of character, a ton of design, a ton of uniqueness. Everybody that comes over absolutely loves it. It is a focal point all the time. People talk about it and love it. So if there's anybody out there that wants to tackle this guy and it goes ahead and builds this, let me know. I would love to see it. If anybody out there found this video useful, let me know again down in the comments below. If there's anything you might change, let everybody know, let myself know, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.